Okay, so yet again we delve deep into the realm of the E network for Total Divas. I last week didn't get recorded, and I was also doing the plant trial. That's why I didn't do it for last week. So this week, a lot of it, I mean a lot of it, centered on two entirely juxtaposed pieces. One side, you've got Ava Marie, who is in the process of just having a dozen rockets strapped to her career and just being shot right to the moon and the stars. You know, they're talking about, well, what have you at SummerSlam? Don't you want to defend the Divas Championship at WrestleMania in front of 100,000 people? Now, these conversations are happening around the time of Money in the Bank. There was initially talks that she was supposed to be in a Divas title match at SummerSlam. Wow. Her NXT matches have gotten better, but there is no way you slap the belt on her. No. WrestleMania next year? I don't know. That's a lot of improvement. I mean, for the next 7 months, she's going to have to pretty much get the equivalent of maybe 3-4 years worth of experience in order to really become good enough to the point that I would say that she would be able to main event the Divas belt at WrestleMania, or be involved in a match for the Divas belt. Unless at WrestleMania, being that it is 4 hours, and they do need to fill in a lot of that with other matches. If they were to have, say, the NXT titles be defended, that could make for a great kickoff show. You could have all 3 NXT belts defended during your like 45 minutes, half an hour kickoff show beforehand. And I could see her feuding for the NXT title easily. But it's unique that she's really looking forward to having her career just become so much more hectic and just flying off to the stars. And The Rock called her like, "Hey, this is The Rock." I can't smile. I lack the facial structure and the awesomeness that is The Rock. I want you to be in my premiere for San Andreas. Let's be honest. You can get a phone call from The Rock to do just about anything. The Rock could be like, "Hey, man, Bear Grylls. All right, you want to drink The Rock's urine?" Yes, Rock. I will be on Bear Grylls with you, and I guess I'll be the person to drink your piss. It's The Rock. How are you going to say no? He's The Rock. He's going to be awesome over the phone talking to you, but I'm tangenting a lot. On the other side, I think she had a nervous breakdown. The weird thing she talks about, it's the rigors of being the Divas champ, but I don't think all of her interviews and all the Make-A-Wish Foundation things and Special Olympic things and doing all the other interviews and the meet and greets, I don't think those have anything to do with her being a champion. I think those have more to do with the Bella brand. People are paying to meet Nikki and Brie. Whether they're holding the belt or not, it doesn't matter. And of course, Money in the Bank, I think that was the last pay-per-view title defense, with her last true defense being the network special that she had, the Beast in the East. And now here we are, it's going to be, like 2 months and 10 days later, she's going to defend her title again. So maybe the Divas Revolution was because she was burned out and she was tired, that they were like, okay, we need to bring in a bunch of other women. So that way then Nikki can not be as stressed out. It's too bad AJ was never part of this. It would have been great to hear what AJ's thoughts were on holding the Divas belt. And she didn't know, and she very, very little in the way of interviews compared to the Bellas. She didn't do a tremendous amount of meet and greets compared to the Bellas. She may have been like, hey, I'm a wrestler. Why are you in my house? That's a lot of cameras. You need to blur him out. Like, all the time. He's just going to be a walking thing of pickles. And I could see Punk just flipping the bird the whole time, like, you blur me out, right? Oh, maybe I'm not wearing any pants. I'm CM Punk, and you're going to blur me out. So interesting for that juxtaposition of Ava Marie, who's like, yeah, I can't wait for my career to really just take off. And Nikki to be like, being on top sucks. Of course, she mentioned working a lot of events, and, she didn't defend her title or have a lot of singles matches. When you compare her belt to one of the men's belts, or one of the male wrestler schedule, did she wrestle a lot? Yes. Did she wrestle every single event? Not as much. Again, compared to a male wrestler. But it's interesting that Ava Marie is super stoked about having this, breakneck career. With the weird thing being that I think they're somewhat close in age. Nikki, given the very, very short longevity cycle that you have of the diva, it's just the way that it is. The oldest one, Layla, is 37, 38 when she finally just like she couldn't do it anymore. So Nikki is kind of at like the apex of her career. She probably has maybe 1, maybe 2 years at here before it starts having that decline. Ava Marie, maybe about another year or two, she'll probably end up hitting what is her skill level plateau. Hold that for 1 or 2 years, being the decline. So if you're a fan of actual women, female athletes, thinking we probably have 3 to 4 years before you'll be seeing Sasha and potentially Paige, as long as they don't get severely injured, making their way, because as they both hit like their mid-20s and early 30s, where they still have about another 5-6 years, we'll have some really great solid wrestling. Unless, of course, they just pull the trigger on Kana and just go, hey, here's what we're going to do. What? Ava? Yeah? You got Kana at Mania. What? How's the match going to be? She going to kick you. What's the rest of the match? She going to kick you again. She kick me hard? Hear that sound? It's not a shotgun being fired. That's her kicking a bag. She gonna kick you. Here's the bright spot. If you don't know how to take the move properly, you're not going to worry about selling, because she's gonna knock you out. Or maybe instead they'll put her in another, like a severely multi-person match. Either way, interesting episode to see how Nikki had handled therapy in the past, with John being the unlikely voice of reason, and how they initially thought that almost all their problems could have been solved by going to wine country. Yeah, I'm depressed and I have problems. The cure to all that? Alcohol. Well, as Homer said, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.